Hi guys, my name is Renee Mandy, and my topic was my section was on Chapter 9, Radio Broadcasting. This chapter contained an abundance of very important and interesting information. I had to carefully select which areas I wanted to focus on discussing, or my presentation would have easily ended up being very long. Radio technology plays a major role around the world for populations in political, economic, and social transition. This in itself is actually one of the reasons why it is very important that we study radio broadcasting. There's also two other reasons which are important for us to study radio broadcasting, and that's that it's free and it's easy to use. There are billions of FM or AM receivers around the world. In just the United States alone, there's 800 million radios. Radio is also a very important information system for three main reasons. These reasons are the low cost of the radio program production, easy translating content into multiple languages, and low cost of a radio received. The term radio has a whole new meaning today and idea behind it than it did in the earlier 1900s. Radio has now become more of a generic term that is used to refer to audio entertainment. Due to things such as streaming audio like Pandora or audio downloads for both music and even full-length programs, and satellite-delivered audio services from Sirius XM, we now think differently of the term radio. The radio has changed over time in many different ways. The 1930s and 1940s were considered the golden age for the radio. During this time period, the radio was considered the medium for news broadcasts and live entertainment. It wasn't until 1961 that the FM radio was discovered. Until 1961, the only option on the radio to listen to was AM. When we look deeper into the history of the radio, we find its roots in the more earlier forms of the communication, such as telephone and telegraph. You might be wondering, so who was the original person who invented the radio? Well, truth be told, there's no single person that invented the radio. It was more of a series of a variety of inventors, and they all redefined each other's ideas. Although for the purpose of this presentation, there will be two names that I will mention and their contribution of ideas to the invention of the radio, or perfecting the radio. Marconi is widely known for recognizing the radio's commercial value and improving the operation of early wireless equipment. Edwin Howard Armstrong made some very important long-lasting contributions to the radio as well. He not only was the one who discovered regeneration, but he also invented the super heterodyne tuner and also discovered the principle behind the signal amplification. He was later awarded 5 patents for frequency modulation in 1933. Here I'm going to compare and contrast AM versus FM. Although both can be easily accessed and listened to on a radio device, they are quite different. AM stands for amplitude modulation and FM stands for frequency modulation. AM varies the modulate signal strength, amplitude, while FM varies the frequency of the signal. The oldest radio station was in AM and began broadcasting in 1920. Because AM has the ability to broadcast over a large range, signals are low fidelity and they are more likely to experience electric interference. FM broadcasts to a much more limited range and as a result provides superior sound. There are 4 primary areas where technology has begun to affect radio broadcasting. These areas are more in recent developments, such as new technologies that offer substitutes for radio, delivery competition for satellite digital audio radio services, new voices for communities, low power FM service, new digital audio broadcasting, transmission modes that are capable with already existing FM and AM radio. 56% of Americans are now smartphone users. Since most Americans are now listening to audio on digital devices, such as these smartphones or tablets, other devices, the 40% of most Americans are now listening to audio on digital devices. The number of hours that consumers listen to the radio is going down and is predicted to continue to decline. The radio now has some competition as well. Internet radio, or the original radio, has competition to internet radio, digital audio files, and podcasts as well. The radio is a way that can be personalized for anybody. With SiriusXM radio, or the new options radio now has, you can program it to play stations or kind of music that is that you like and personalized to what you like. You can listen to Christian radio stations on your way to work. You can listen to the news on your way to work. You could listen to country music, pop, rock. You can program it to only play the stations or genre of music to which you like. From a Christian perspective, the radio, depending how we use it and what we use it for, can be used in a very wholesome manner. If we're listening, we can easily start our day off with listening to the Christian radio station, starting off listening to, word of prayer or a certain type of music. It depends on what we filter in to what we're listening to. That changes how, the radio, depends on what we're using the radio for, that can be used from a Christian perspective or an ungodly perspective. What we're listening to, what kind of content we're listening to, what are we allowing ourselves to hear. And so my question for the forums that we have to write into is, what ways do you feel that the radio has evolved, and do you feel that the way it has evolved is more beneficial to society? Why or why not? Thank you for listening.